Hello there everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ecologist Plays, the channel where we get to play games and talk about nature. We are back in green hell, as you can see, and well, a lot has happened actually off screen because, well, I went to go take a screenshot for the last video's thumbnail and I had to again go and find coconuts. So I went the same route I did last time, was attacked by the caiman again, the black caiman over there to that side. I then went back to that side where we found the first little tortoise and, well, I was bitten by a rattlesnake there, almost died. Eventually made it back here, slept the fever off, and now we are back. So, I don't have any more wounds, I've got a whole bunch of new coconuts over here, and I also have more bones. So I can make one more bone armor for me. And there we go, that is going to be our bone armor, and I think we are going to replace this stick armor with it. Okay, so that's quite nice. Now, of course, today's objective is to explore a little bit more to that side. And I think, first of all, we are going to just take a quick little nap here. And there we go, it is daytime once more. Well, I think we should be, pretty much it's just carbs that we're basically shorting. Maybe we'll find a banana on the way. But what we are doing is we are heading in that direction because I think, if I'm correct, there's a nice potential spot for a base up there. So this is a very, very interesting mushroom. I think this is a type of stinkhorn, believe it or not. Now, stinkhorns look like this, here where I am. So not at all like this unknown mushroom over here. I wouldn't eat a stinkhorn at all. They stink, like that's where they get their name from. But apparently a lot of the stinkhorns you can eat when they are just emerging from the soil, when they are in what we call the egg stage, or when there is a stinkhorn egg present. And there goes a capybara, the largest rodent in the world. Really cool little creatures. I believe I saw one when I was 5 years old, when we visited a local zoo. But unfortunately, and this is very ironic, there was a big flood a year or so later, and I'm pretty sure the capybara drowned in the process there. Capybaras, very good at swimming, very good swimmers. Unfortunately, I think this one was swept away by the current, or, unfortunately died in a massive flood we had. So that wasn't nice. But here we go, 2 more capybaras. Oh wow, there are a lot of them around here. Now, when deciding on a base location, the most important, of course, is that there is water present or quite close by. And this is nice, this little river that is here. However, I think we also need a bit more of a view and less of a waterfall rushing sound. Let's just eat these random mushrooms we can find here because we're not dirty at the moment. And there are going to be some nice starches for us. And then we'll just head on over to that side. There is a road over here, so that is interesting. We could, of course, follow that to find out where whoever was driving here actually went. So maybe that's a good idea to actually follow. Maybe one of the worst ideas, but it may also be one of the best ideas. So, you know what? Let's actually follow this. Maybe we'll find some sign of civilization along the way here. We also have a tapir right up ahead. Oh my word. I love tapirs. Tapirs are more closely related to rhinos than they are to other, like capybaras, for example. They are an odd-toed ungulate, so they've got, I think, 3 toes on their feet. Unlike the typical, like, goats and stuff, which have got 2. They're even-toed ungulates. The tapirs are odd-toed ungulates. I've never seen one, and of course we'll talk about them as we go along, but look at that little guy. You may see the little trunk there at the front. There we go. Hello. Oh, bye. The trunk that it has there, of course, used to actually grip vegetation and maneuver it into their mouths. And that's quite cool. Oh, I did not expect to see them this early. Okay, but we have to stick to the road so that we don't get lost. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, look at there. Oh, I heard it. I heard it. We are clearly in the territory of the 3rd largest cat in the world, the Jaguar. Oh wow. Okay, I was actually hoping we wouldn't be attacked by one on our journey today, but here we are. So of course, Jaguar's the 3rd largest cat in the world, after tigers and lions. Tigers being the largest and lions being the 2nd largest, or heaviest at least, cat on earth. And then the Jaguar here, the 3rd. And jaguars, I would actually reckon, would be one of my favorite cats in the world. Along with leopards. I mean, they do look very, very similar, but the jaguar spots are slightly larger than the leopards. And very often what you'll have are these little dots like that one right over there. Little dots within the center of these rosette-like spots. So, of course, the cheetahs and leopards and jaguars, they all look very similar with their spots. I mean, if you look very quickly. You can see a spotted cat and wow, okay, it's one of those three. But of course the jaguars are found only in South and Central America, whereas the leopard and the cheetah you'll find in Africa, and then some cheetahs in certain parts of Asia, but then leopards also extending all the way into India. So quite widely occurring in the old world, whereas jaguars are in the new world. And they fulfill very, very similar niches. Both of them are ambush predators, making use of their camouflage to sneak up to unsuspecting prey. And that's why they've got all these spots. This is a form of disruptive camouflage. For a moment I got a fright, I thought it is still alive, but no, it's dead. Okay, the little spots here, those are to disrupt, to break up the outline of the jaguar. So that's what we call disruptive camouflage. If this jaguar were just one color, like the puma is, for example, or the cougar, that's a little bit easier to spot than the jaguar, because these spots are designed to kind of make it more difficult to figure out what you are looking at. And that second or two that it takes you or the prey animal to actually figure out that, oh, goodness me, I'm looking at the jaguar, that's all the jaguar needs to get close enough to pounce. So really, really, really awesome. They also, of course, have extremely strong bites, and because they've got such strong bite force, they will take down things like caiman, they will take down crocodiles, all kinds of stuff, even tortoises and turtles they will be able to take down, because they've learned, for example, that red-footed tortoise that we have, hunted previously, wouldn't really say hunted, but harvested previously, that they have learned to actually bite all along the side of the shell, and in the process, they open up the shell and then they eat the tortoise inside. So quite amazing and quite ingenious that they have figured out how to do all that. Now we are not going to let this jaguar go to waste. We're going to use the bones to try and get another bone armor going. And there we go, that's going to be our third one. Oh, peccaries! Hello there, little peccaries. Oh, we'll talk about them again in the future as well. For now, oh look, we've got fresh water. Well, I say fresh water. I wouldn't really classify this as fresh water, but it is water. And there's a little tortoise. Hello, tortoise. Oh, and we also have a hive of sorts. Alright, so that actually appears to be a wasp hive. I wouldn't really want to get too close to that, but I want to build here. This looks like a very, very nice spot to actually build a base. Yes, we are close to a jaguar that did try to catch us now, but I think if we're just careful, we may be able to survive. I think this is a good spot. There will most likely be some fish around here as well. But look, there's toucan over there. Oh my word. Oh, there are so many things here. There's toucan there. We've got jaguar. We've got the red-footed tortoise here. Yeah, I think this is a marvelous, marvelous spot. We are at 5124. That is our spot that we are currently at. And I do think we also have leeches. Hello there, little enemies. I was going to say friends, but they're definitely not friends. Let's just, before we do anything else, let's just wash ourselves. Just clean up nicely so that we can start getting to work here. Okay, so there's a tapir here as well. I do see the road actually goes past here as well, so that's nice. I actually think it may be best if we actually build into this rock face over here, or try to build into this rock face. Let's see whether we can do that though. We will of course have to clear the area a bit, but somehow I doubt we'll be able to do that. There is going to be a bit of rain coming. Now what we're going to do is we are just going to lighten our load a little bit, drink the coconuts, harvest the coconuts, and throw out the bowls, so that we have water to drink while working. And after thinking about it for a bit, I realized that, you know what, we're going to be transporting a lot of logs and everything, so we may as well build a sled. And through the magic of editing, voila, we have a finished sled. I believe now we'll be able to just pick up logs and put that in there, and there was a centipede in there, but it did not get me. And we can actually pull the sled wherever we go now. So let's continue, shall we? Right, and this now of course means that we can very easily just drag everything down to where we are building our new little house. There we go, marvelous. Now of course the sled was an extremely useful way of transporting a lot of material very easily from one area to another, especially in South and Central America where the wheel hadn't been invented. I mean, all those massive pyramids by the Incas and the Mayans, all of those things and the massive empire survived without having ox wagons and stuff like that. Well, didn't have oxen either, but you know, without little tapir wagons or something along those lines. So something like the sled over here to actually drag the material. It's much easier to use than to try and carry the logs wherever you want to go. You can just drag it. It's much simpler. It uses less energy, at least, let's put it that way. What we do, however, need is just a place to sleep. So maybe we should actually just set that up first. And I think I'm going to set this up in this trackway over here, where it will be easy to find again. Because, well, I can't tell you how many times I have placed down little shelters only to lose it later on, not being able to find it. Now, if like me, you've just chopped down 2 palm trees to make this little shelter here and you're left with a whole bunch of palm leaves, well, one thing you can of course do with it is to just harvest it so that you get all the nice little fibers. So you're getting a small leaf pile, and leave that for a day or so in your backpack and you'll have some nice little dried leaves. So if you look here in our backpack, we've got 3 small leaf piles now. By tomorrow, that will most likely become dry leaves, and we can then use that of course to start a nice little fire. Now we're just going to quickly sleep again, because it is night time, and I prefer being energized when we start working. So let's see, we have got a little watch again on the left at the bottom there, and that is because our carbohydrates are, well, it's in short supply. So that is what is missing from our diet at the moment. Yeah, some mushrooms here again. Just eat them, just get some starches in, some carbohydrates, not a lot, but it is something. And then it is back to work, because we've got to finish up this shelter over here. And there we go. First little new shelter done. And when you look at that, we're actually right next to some custard apples. Oh, wow, nice. Can I collect all 3 of these? Come on, give me that lovely little unknown fruit. And I think you can, yes, you can name it. I'm going to call it custard apple. There we go. That's going to be the new name. Whenever we now see it, it's going to say custard apple. And oh my word, custard apples are such lovely things. We're going to eat 2 of them, and we're going to harvest the one so that we have the seeds ready for later. Because we're going to need it. We're going to be planting it. And that will most likely be next episode, where we try to establish agriculture. Basically. Okay, so next up, what have we got? Well, we have got some more coconuts that have fallen down from that tree. We're going to keep that for now. I mean, imagine that. We spent the whole of last episode looking for coconuts, and here we're just building our base, and voila, there are coconuts. Coconuts everywhere. Of course they are. Now that we have actually built this frame, we can also see whether we can attach another frame to it. Something tells me we're not going to be that lucky. Now, we need to first clear that one there, and we can't build it to the side because there is a stump over here that we can't clear. Unclearable obstacle. Okay. But can we potentially make something like stairs or a ramp? I don't think there are technically any stairs, but there is a shed, and we can't build that here either. Okay. Well, good to know. Okay, there we go. We can at least build again. So this is, of course, a very slow process. But if you're playing Green Hell and you want to select a good spot for a base, this is what I would be looking for. First of all, have you got water nearby? And we're building right next to the water here, because first of all, you can clean yourself the whole time. You can scoop water here, put it on your campfire, and it will be cleaned, it will be cooked. And also, very importantly, we can have a mud mixer built right next to the water, so we don't have to worry and wait for it to rain for us to actually mix mud. So that is a very important consideration, and we can get mud from the water over here as well, from the wet environment. Yeah, so that's going to be very important. Secondly, if you've got things like coconuts growing, that's very useful, because occasionally you'll have your coconuts dropping down to the ground, and of course that's a very nice source of fats, and of course you can harvest it and eventually use the bowls here to catch water. And then what I would also look for is some source of food. Not just coconuts, but meat as well for your proteins. And in this spot that we currently are, there are quite a few peccaries and there are quite a few tapirs to hunt. And they're rich in protein and fat, their meat. So this is a relatively nice area. The only problem is that there are some tribesmen that do occasionally walk along that side there. So it's just something to look out for. You won't know that necessarily when you decide, oh, this is a nice spot to build. But you may occasionally come under attack from the Waraha tribe in the area. And those are some of the most important considerations. One last very important consideration is to look whether you have any rocks spawning in the area. And for me, my rock spawn is just on the other side of the water here. On this little island, there is a big rock, and there is another little rock that has spawned. So this is my rock spawn point. Another useful thing about this location is that there are lots of fish that are around in this little small pond, So if I put out fish traps, I'll be able to catch a lot of fish as a constant supply of food. And if you want to know where I am, I'm at 24 South, 51 West. There is this nice little lake over here, little pond, and there are lots and lots of things to eat around here. Only thing in short supply? Carbs. Carbohydrates, not that abundant. Alright, now I actually think the most important thing to do now is to actually build a mud mixer. And the way to get that is to just take mud and suddenly, voila, we have the mud mixer recipe. So now we can build that. Of course, we do have to keep a lookout because this is the Jaguar territory. Of course, there's a lot of prey, so you can expect a predator to be in the area. It does make sense, definitely makes a lot of sense that there could be a Jaguar here. And we did hunt the one that was here a little while ago, so who knows, maybe there is another one in its place. But I must say, of all the things that they have brought into the game, this sled is definitely one of the most amazing things. And I think it was also one of the most highly requested items that they brought into the game. Because everybody wanted to be able to take their logs and long sticks and everything down from wherever they were harvesting down to wherever they were building. And it was such a hassle to just carry it by hand. And it makes sense because if you look at human history, nobody wants to lug around everything by hand. You'd rather drag something around on a sled like this than you would, carry it by hand. Okay, it is nighttime now. I had to take a quick nap because, well, all our vitals are plummeting. We have got no protein, we've got very little carbs, we've got some fats and we've got some water, which means that if we fill up our fats and our water, we can have a maximum of 50% health. Let's quickly build a fire. Of course, we need to build the fire under the roof here so that rain cannot extinguish it, so let's get on with it. Now, it really isn't wise walking around at night, not necessarily in the game, but like in real life, because, well, we as humans do not have the best night vision. Predators like jaguars would have far better night vision. So thankfully the night in the game here is not too dark, so you can more or less see where you are going. But a predator would be, especially a nocturnal one, would definitely be able to see far better than we can in the dark. Now the thing is that because we don't have protein, or our protein is low, we are becoming exhausted very, very quickly. So we have to get some protein in soon. And speaking of which, there is a rattlesnake friend right over there. Luckily my stone spawn point is right over here, so I can just run over this way and that to collect enough stones to complete this thing. But we are becoming exhausted so quickly. And this is one of the things that the game does extremely well. If you don't look after your health, or if you don't get all your important nutrients in, you are going to be weak. You are not going to be fit for survival. And that's what's happening to us here. We have got only fat and water. We haven't had enough proteins, we haven't had enough carbohydrates, and as a result we're very, very weak. So we have to constantly take a nap. So here we are again. So it's now mid-morning. We have woken up from our nap, and the thing is that now that we have fire, we should be in the pound seats, because we are going to finally be able to cook some meat. So what we're going to do is, of course, use our fire bow, and this time we're going to use some of the dry leaves that we got from the vegetation we harvested earlier. And after a bit of a struggle, we have an ember, the fire is ignited, and now we are going to just put some coconut bowls on there. And then, of course, after cooking some water, we can put in some rattlesnake meat. And unfortunately, a lot of our rattlesnake meat have also gone to waste. But that means we're getting more maggots. Let's see, where our proteins were completely empty, we're now halfway. Wow, okay. But this is where our friends, the peccary, will come in. Now, peccaries, like the one we have just hunted here, are related to pigs, but they're not pigs. Because taxonomically speaking, they are first of all in the same order as all the even-toed ungulates, the Artiodactyla. Those include the deer, it includes the antelope, it includes things like buffalo, those types of things, goats as well, and of course the pigs. And then within that large order, you have a suborder called the Suina, which are all the pigs and peccaries, or the pig-like creatures. So they're very similar, but within that suborder, you have got different families, and the one here is the Suidae, and that will include the pigs, and the other one is the Taias Suidae, which includes the peccaries. So they are distantly related, not closely related. These would be like your second or third cousins are to you. They're not in your same family, they are distantly related, but you know, they are more closely related to you than someone on the other side of the earth is. So let's harvest our peccary over here, because this is going to be extremely useful food, first of all, so lots of fat and protein rich meat, and then also lots of bones that we can get from it. Here we go, we've got 4 more bones, more armor, that's what that is. So let's quickly cook the meat here before it even spoils. And there we go, our 3rd bone armor piece. Actually, after checking, this is our 4th bone armor piece. We now completely armored up with bone armor, which is marvelous. Only thing we can make that's better than this, or only 2 things we can make, is armadillo armor, which of course we can use the armadillo that is walking around here for, and then the metal armor, which we need to do forging for, and we are nowhere near that. And now our protein's 100% full again. Well now, that is just marvelous. We have gone from almost dying, well basically having almost no health, to being perfectly fine. Right, so as I was carrying the long sticks there, we of course got our little friend, the centipede, over here as well. And if we just have a look at them there, yeah, there we go, there it is. So that is most likely one of these Scolopendra genus centipedes. They are the big ones, and I think this is the Amazon giant centipede. Now we have got a Scolopendra in South Africa actually, and it is surprisingly aggressive, well, intimidating sometimes, let's put it that way. Perhaps not aggressive, but definitely very, very intimidating. What we have observed is when we got too close to one of them, it was actually in a little shrub, and it sat on a branch and vibrated very quickly to basically shake the branch, to intimidate us to go away. Now, of course, centipedes are venomous, so if you were to leave that one, it would most likely bite you, and that would not be a pleasant experience. So, of course, the moment you realize that they are in the long sticks or logs or rocks that you are carrying, drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it onto the ground, because otherwise they are going to bite you and going to have a venom wound on your arm. Thankfully, we managed to drop it quickly enough, and we didn't have to worry about that. Hello, Tapir. I will talk a bit about you next time. Okay, apparently I need to rest again, and this is most likely because my carbohydrates are so low. So it should be time for the Jaguar to move into the area again, so we're just going to have to keep an eye out for them when we wake up again. Because we may be in danger. Okay, just after midnight, about 2 o'clock in the morning, we have decided this is a good time to start working again. Let's just quickly put some more sticks on the Barbie here. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Yep, the sled just makes everything so much easier. The fact that you can take long sticks and logs down at the same time, you can carry so many things at the same time, absolutely marvelous. And I also love the fact that as you do things, you get better at it. Like as I chop down trees faster. As I craft things, my sled almost fell over. As I learn to craft things, I craft better quality tools that don't break so easily. And there we go. The mud mixer is complete, finally. Now, we take mud, we add mud, we take mud, we add mud. But mud, just like this, needs something to bind it. And in this case, what we are using is campfire ash. Now, if you don't have campfire ash, like we have here, we've got 2 campfire ash, you can also just take the charcoal and harvest it. And that is going to give you a campfire ash. So now we have got 3. And we've got lots and lots of charcoal. So sometimes it is worth it just making another little campfire. Not like a proper one like this, but a small fire just to make it and let it burn out so that you can get more charcoal and ash. But of course later on we are going to make the charcoal burner, which is going to be far more efficient. It's going to give us a lot of charcoal at a time to then break down into ash. Basically just grind it. Okay, now what we'll do now is we'll just collect some water. And as it rains, it also will fill up the water meter there. You can see it is ticking up. So we actually don't have to use our bidon. And now that it is completely wet, we can use it. Make ourselves extremely dirty in the process, but the rain, of course, will wash the filth off. And now we finally have mud bricks that we can use for our roof. And we are going to, put a roof on here as well. So we look on the platform here. There is mud roof. We're going to do that. I can put another one on there as well. Now it's just a case of, okay, I want to carry the mud bricks. I want to carry the mud bricks. And well, this is going to be quite a long process for me. So I think this is where we're going to call it today, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something along the way here. We are going to be looking a little bit more at the Jaguars and the peccaries and all those things as we carry on with the game, which will be next week, Tuesday again. So if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow. And always marvelous to welcome new people to this squad, to the Ecology Squad. So until next time, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Bye.